CBT News is expanding its reach like never before and is launching in over 70 million broadcasting households. Whether you have Roku, Apple TV, or a mobile device running on Android or iOS, you can now enjoy our engaging, in-depth interviews with dealers, automakers, trade associations, best-selling authors, motivational speakers, and so much more, whenever and wherever you are. Simply search CBT News in the App Store of your smart TV. Welcome to CBT News with Shyann Malone.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to CBT News. I'm Shyann Malone. Thanks so much for watching. On today's show, we are joined by Matt Bowers, owner of the Matt Bowers Auto Group. But first, here's a look at today's top automotive industry stories. We start with some new information related to customer satisfaction. According to Cox Automotive's annual car buyer journey study, customer satisfaction with the entire car buying and shopping experience as a whole increased in 2023. And this comes after declining in 2021 and 22 as well. Now, that report revealed some of the factors impacting this increase include a rise in product availability, return of incentives, and the transition to more digital-based processes. I will point out satisfaction among buyers of used vehicles has risen from 58% to 68%. This in a comparison to new car buyers, which have reported a 73% satisfaction rate, and that's up 70% versus last year. In a live stream on January 16th, UAW President Fain expressed his anger, let's just call it, over labor disputes and criticized Stellantis for terminating hundreds of temporary employees. He stated that, quote, Stellantis has the resources to do the right thing and offer a path for these employees to secure full-time auto jobs. Instead, they are prioritizing the benefits of shareholders and executives. Stellantis has confirmed the company laid off 539 supplemental employees across several U.S. manufacturing facilities, stating their services would no longer be needed. Mark your calendars. The Federal Trade Commission will hold an open virtual meeting on January 18th coming up. One of the items on that agenda, a presentation on the Combating Auto Retail Scams, or quote, CARS rule. During the meeting, the FTC's Division of Financial Practices staff will briefly overview the new CARS rule, which aims to prevent junk fees and bait and switch techniques in the automobile retail industry. The rule also has specific provisions to safeguard active military personnel. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has released a notice stating it has opened an investigation into Fisker's Ocean SUV for a lack of braking performance. The agency has received 9 reports, and one of which resulted in an unidentified injury due to a crash. The investigation comes as the company struggles with lower than expected demand and not hitting internal sales targets. According to the NHTSA, there have been 19 complaints from owners regarding various issues such as brake failure, gear shifter malfunctions, the driver door not opening from the inside, and hoods unexpectedly popping up even on the highway. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Matt Bowers, owner of the Matt Bowers Auto Group. He's here to discuss what his auto group is facing in the post-pandemic era.
CBT News is expanding its reach like never before and is launching in over 70 million broadcasting households. Whether you have Roku, Apple TV, or a mobile device running on Android or iOS, you can now enjoy our engaging, in-depth interviews with dealers, automakers, trade associations, best-selling authors, motivational speakers, and so much more, whenever and wherever you are. Simply search CBT News in the App Store of your smart TV.
If you're one of those in the industry that many have watched because you were in the industry selling cars and moving iron and as a desk manager, and I'm sure held all the positions in the front end of the business and maybe the back end of the business too. But you're one of those that got into the business, rolled up their shirt sleeves and said, you know what, this is for me and I'm going to get into this business and become a dealer principal and eventually have your own auto group. So talk to us a little bit about that.
You know, I wish I had that sort of intuition or foresight. I got into the car business. I started selling cars. Really, I didn't think it was going to be a thing that I was going to do forever. I thought I was in school. I was in law school at the time. And I got to call my mom and tell her I was dropping out and I was going to go sell cars.
That was probably a fun call.
You can imagine what Thanksgiving was like that
Yes.
year, Jim.
Yes.
It was a tough year for me. But I got into the business because I saw opportunity. I got there and I realized, hey, look, if I can be better than this group of individuals in front of me, you know, my first promotion can be, you know, a substantial amount of money for me, certainly at the time.
Sure.
And, you know, I felt like I was playing on an even field. You know, and look, I didn't have in my head that I was going to go buy a dealership at that point in time. But, you know, I worked and I saw opportunity in the company that I was in and continued to progress. And we were talking a little while ago off camera. You know, I think that if you perform at a high level and you don't do anything to remove yourself from the conversation, like lose patience or take a job for the wrong reason, that's the wrong job. You know, ultimately, if you do those things and you have the talent, the ability, people will find you.
Sure. And jump,
You know,
because you think the grass is greener, only to find out it's just grass. And
correct.
Right.
So people will find you. And then if you're good enough, people might stake you or banks might stake you.
Sure.
And that's really my story. Both of those things happened on the way to me owning the car dealerships I own today.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. They are all beautiful stores. I know that you've built such incredible facilities. I'm sure that your OEM representatives are very happy with you on that. And that makes a big difference today, doesn't it? In terms of everything is now about the customer experience. We hear so much about that. Many people that I've spoken to in the past have said, well, you know, the dealership isn't as relevant as it is because so many people are, you know, picking this up or going to their computer and doing a lot of the process online. And therefore, you know, dealers are building these big fancy showrooms, but they don't mean as much. What do you say to those people that say that, you know, the
You know, I think
future
the
is
business
on
has evolved. I think it's truly evolved. I was brought up in the industry, probably similar to yourself, where, you know, it was drilled into my head that the facilities were sort of a utility of the operating business. Okay, so don't paint the walls, don't spend any money.
That's right.
Keep everything as low as possible.
That's right.
So we can make more money. I think as the world has evolved, branding has evolved through all the different mediums that's involved with today. I think the brand, the facility is a reflection of your brand. Not only the OE's brand, but your brand as the owner and dealer.
Sure.
So I think it's more than just a utility these days. And the car manufacturers, you know, and I commend them. It's difficult for me to say as a dealer, but you know, the money to be involved in these businesses has gone up substantially over the last, call it decade.
Yeah.
Over the last few years.
Yeah, that's right.
And, you know, they have a right to be represented, certainly in certain markets, in facilities that they are proud of to face their customers, and by dealers that they're also proud of, that are willing to make those sort of investments.
And be sure to watch this full interview right here at cbtnews.com. Well, that wraps up our show for today, but we do invite you right back here tomorrow morning on cbtnews.com. And remember, you can stay up to date with the most recent news and trends influencing the retail automotive industry by following us on TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, and X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm Shyann Malone. That does it for me. You have a good one.
CBT News, your #1 resource for auto industry news and content. CBT News is expanding its reach like never before and is launching in over 70 million broadcasting households. Whether you have Roku, Apple TV, or a mobile device running on Android or iOS, you can now enjoy our engaging, in-depth interviews with dealers, automakers, trade associations, best-selling authors, motivational speakers, and so much more, whenever and wherever you are. Simply search CBT News in the App Store of your smart TV